Welcome to the Darren Well podcast with Rita Mercer. Hello, and welcome back, Darren listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Darren Well podcast. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed and stressed out? Well, on today's episode, we're going to talk about creating white space. Today, we're going to explore how to create more white space so we can decrease our levels of anxiety, boost our mood, and increase our productivity. So settle into a comfortable space, grab a warm cup of tea, and let's dive in and learn how carving out more white space in your life could be the greatest key to unlocking your greatest strength in emotional well-being and resilience. Let's get started. So, before we dive into what white space really means, let's take a moment to acknowledge the busyness that just so happens to become our life nowadays. In this fast-paced world, we're always on and feeling overwhelmed by the pressure to show up for everyone and do all the things, all with what seems like endless notifications and distractions. All of this leaves us feeling with little leftover margin for us to just pause and breathe. But what if I told you that within this busyness of it all, there's an opportunity? There's an opportunity to cultivate an emotional well-being through the simple practice of creating white space. So you might be wondering, what exactly is white space? At its core, white space, it's breathing room. It's about being more proactive rather than reactive and carving out our intentional periods of rest and time where we can allow ourselves to disconnect fully and freely from all the demands on our time and our energy. The sad thing about white space is that we typically don't know we're missing it until it's too late. You know that feeling when your body says you can't go any further. When you find yourself ignoring somatic and mood symptoms, you slowly start to lose that sensitivity to the cues of the rest of your body, that your body oh so craves the rest. Some somatic signs of stress can include insomnia, headaches, racing heart, sweating, chest pain, muscle tension, difficulty with your memory or focus, and even upset stomach. So, when you've pushed yourself too far, you might start to feel tired, stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, less hopeful, more negative, and even easily irritable. You might keep pushing yourself thinking, I need to do more, or thinking that I'm not doing enough, which are all lies that are tied to an unhealthy self image rooted in shame and rejection. These are all telltale signs that you need more white space. The truth is, your worth is not about what you do, but it's who you are. You are enough by yourself. Who you are is absolutely enough. White space is all about being present. It's being present in this present moment. It's about being mindful so that you can create more room for stillness, self reflection, and time to recharge amidst the busyness of it all. You could think of it as giving yourself permission to hit the pause button and just be present without all the added pressure to do or be. Now, let's lean into a couple key aspects about how white space can benefit our emotional well-being, including decreasing our anxiety, boosting our mindset, and increasing our productivity with mindful awareness and making space for self-care. I love my smartwatch. It helps me to be efficient physically and mentally. But there are times I often turn on my silence mode or my do not disturb mode, so I'm not constantly bombarded with countless notifications from every social media app and every text message. Sometimes the background noise of life and trying to multitask can distract us from being fully present and being focused. Cultivating white space requires a great deal of intentionality and a mindful approach. It involves protecting our peace, protecting our peace, protecting our time, protecting our energy by setting proper boundaries. Energy zappers can come into our life, and those could be people, they could be places, they could be things, they could be ideas that attempt to zap us of our energy. When we are mindful of prioritizing activities that nourish our mind, that nourish our body and spirit, we're able to create more white space in our lives. What are some of your energy zappers that's present in your life? And how can you reduce their impact in your daily and your weekly and your monthly life? Maybe it's unhealthy food choices. Maybe it's absorbing too much news, drama, and negativity. Maybe it's holding on to unforgiveness. Maybe it's the unforgiveness that you need to give yourself, or maybe it's unforgiveness that you need to give to someone else. Or maybe it's learning the art of saying no so that you're not overcommitting yourself. Take a moment and dig deep. Dig deep to identify your energy zappers. I wonder if sometimes that we fill up our spaces mentally and physically with so many distractions so that we can avoid validating our own worth and validating our own feelings and validating our own thoughts. A positive mindset says that it's okay and it's absolutely safe to prioritize my needs, my feelings, my thoughts. A negative mindset says, I hate how I feel and I judge how I'm feeling. So, where are you at with those two, positive or negative mindset? So many of us wrap up so much of our self-worth and our identity in what we do, which leaves us empty and with a void. So, how do we get out of that cycle of attaching our self-worth to what we do versus who we truly are? The void of being mindfully aware leaves us wanting more abundance that's full of deep and meaningful connections with ourselves and with others. I encourage you to be mindful of who, what, when, where, and why you give your energy. If you move with mindful awareness in choosing, because it's definitely a choice, choosing to let go of the need to constantly be productive, the need to constantly always be on for everybody and for everything, you'll notice an increase in your mindful awareness. White space is simply about carving out time in our busy schedules to check in with ourselves, to tune in to our thoughts, our emotions, and to cultivate self-awareness. So take a moment, just pause. Sometimes we're so overstimulated by the constant noise, the chatter from our thoughts, and the busyness of life. And finding moments of stillness and silence can seem like a luxury that others have, but just not you. But it's during these moments of white space that we have the opportunity to nourish our souls, replenish our spirits, and prioritize our emotional well being and self care. We are all blessed with the same 24 hours per day. So if you're tired of being tired, I encourage you to pause. Pause to listen to your body. Pause so that you can create more white space to recharge. Engaging in mindful practices such as meditation, journaling, or simply practicing some grounding techniques with some time out in nature can promote more clarity and mindful awareness. In a world inundated with tons of information at the speed of light and constantly overstimulated with so many sights and sounds, it's more important than ever to make some space and some time for mindful detox to help with recentering and grounding yourself and reconnecting and coming home to yourself and to your body. Making space for self-care is a great way to create white space, to feel recharged emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Self-care helps to build up our tolerance and resilience to many of life's ups and downs. So, not putting on rosy colored glasses and pretending like life isn't hard, but being more realistic with managing our emotional energy. When we give ourselves permission to pause and step back from the constant go, 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 we create more white space. Space to rest, space to reflect, and space to prioritize our need for self care. Self care is the highest form of self love. I'm sure you've heard that you can't pour from an empty cup. And that is so true, my friend. Creating white space through the act of self care allows us to fill our cup when we're feeling depleted, when we're feeling tired and overwhelmed, so we can gain a better perspective on the truly important things in our lives. It also helps us develop healthier coping skills for stress management. Self care is all about honoring our needs and setting healthy boundaries and practicing acts of self kindness and compassion to ourselves. Whether it's taking a nice leisurely walk out in nature, indulging in soothing bubble bath, or curling up to a good book. It can also look like hobbies like photography, crocheting, gardening, or routines like hair care routine or starting a new skincare routine. All of these are great ideas for self care. I'm curious, what are some of the favorite go to self care ideas that you use? Do you have a self care plan? What is your favorite hobby? What do you do for fun? If you're struggling with developing a self care plan, I have a couple of ideas to encourage you. One, you can go at it on your own. I have a couple of free resources for you, a self care journal, as well as a holistic wellness guide. You can see the show notes for these free downloads. Also, I want to personally extend an invitation for you to join my upcoming wellness and coping skills course entitled Mindfully You. Mindfully You will be a monthly membership course, starting with founding members launch and with the launch date the first week of May. For those joining during this founding members launch, I have a special discount code where you can lock in the discounted rate as long as your account is active. For more information, visit daringwell.com/wellness. Whatever you do for self care, please just let it be easy. Let it be fun. Let it be somewhat mindless, meaning whatever activity that you choose, let it give your beautiful brain a break. By prioritizing our self care routine as an essential component of creating white space, we can foster a deeper connection with ourselves, with others, and the world around us. As we start to wrap up today, I want to share a few next steps with simple strategies and some benefits of white space. Regardless of which season of life that you and your family is in, it's my hope that you start slowly to implement a few of these tips today, just a few, this week, and start to watch the benefits manifest in your life. There's so many benefits to incorporating white space into our everyday lives. Research shows that consistently creating room for white space in your daily schedule can yield several benefits for our overall well-being, including reducing stress, improves our focus, enhances creativity, it helps to have a better work and life balance, it improves our productivity, increases our mindfulness, improves our sleep quality, and regulates our emotional well-being. While it may seem counterintuitive, taking breaks and incorporating white space can actually enhance your productivity by preventing burnout and increasing mental clarity. You can reduce stress levels by allowing for short breaks and unstructured time in your schedule. So, not filling up every minute and every day with an activity, but leaving in some white space so you can find some breathing room. I encourage you to look at ways to reduce distractions in your life and reduce the mental clutter so you can increase your focus and decrease your worries. Something as mundane as meal planning could feel really big and overwhelming if you don't have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So it's all about being more proactive. So you can create more white space by batch cooking meals or purchasing meals from the grocery store. Bird's Eye Meals and Marie Callender's pot pies are my favorite current go-tos when I need to whip up something quick and healthy. If you start with something small as batch cooking or meal prepping, you'll find how it helps to create more white space in your everyday life. Mindset is so important. Actually, it's more than half the battle, which is why you should give yourself grace when you feel so overwhelmed and so tired. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small wins every day as you embrace your wellness journey. After all, you're the best expert in your life. These tips today are just tips. Find what works best for you and your family and your lifestyle. I hope that you found some new ideas today, or at least start to give yourself permission to get started today, to take action and not wait until next week or when this or that thing is done to start to carve out some white space for you. You're important and you are more than enough and well deserving of some white space. As we wrap up today's episode, I dare you to pause and reflect on how you can incorporate more white space into your everyday life. Remember, it's not about adding more and more to your to-do list and multitasking like the best of them, but it's rather about prioritizing your emotional well-being, protecting your time and your energy, and honoring your need for fun and freedom. So go ahead and give yourself permission to create more white space for stillness, reflection, and self-care. Your mind, your body, and spirit, as well as your future self, will thank you for it. If you found value in today's episode, please do me a huge favor and take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. I look forward to connecting with you on social media and letting me know how I can best serve you on your wellness journey. And remember, the path to emotional well-being begins with just one single step. Dare to take it. Dare to take it scared. Dare to take it tired. Dare to take it overwhelmed. But keep moving, my friend. Keep moving. That's all for today's episode on creating white space. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Daring Well podcast. Until next time, keep living, keep loving, and keep daring well. Take care, and God bless, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Daring Well podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to continue exploring the world of holistic wellness, be sure to subscribe to the Daring Well podcast so you never miss an episode filled with transformative conversations and actionable advice. Thank you again for being part of the Daring Well podcast community. Together, let's dare to live well in mind, body, and spirit.